It was raining that night then, cold drops slicing through the silence. I parked down the street, watching the lights of my house blaze like a celebration of betrayal. Laughter spewed through the open windows. Wine glasses clinked. Music roared. And there, at the gate, Saturday, my father shivering, old hands wrapped around his knees, eyes glazed with disbelief. He looked up when I approached, soaked to the bone. "Son," his voice trembled, "why won't they let us in?" That one question, soft, innocent, laced with hurt, burned through me like acid. For years, I thought I had it all figured out. A loving wife, supportive in-laws, a home I built from the ground up with every saved penny. When my mother died, my father became my only real family. I promised her I'd never let him live alone. So when my wife suggested him move in, I thought, finally, someone who understands. But I was wrong. Her parents visited often, too often. They had opinions about everything, how my house should look, what my father should eat, how I should behave. I mistook their meddling for care, but care doesn't come with conditions. It started subtly. My father stopped joining us for dinner. He'd sit alone on the porch, staring at the garden. When I asked if everything was fine, he smiled weakly. "I think your wife's family doesn't like old people around," he said. I brushed it off, until one evening. I came home early from work and heard laughter in the living room. My wife, her parents, her cousins. Then, I heard my father's door click shut. Her mother's voice carried across the hall. "Finally, he got the hint. That man smells like the grave. Your husband's blind to it, but we're not." Silence. Then my wife's whisper, the one that tore through me. "He'll be gone soon. I'll make sure of it." I wanted to confront them. God knows I did. But something inside me said, "Wait." From that night onward, I became a ghost in my own home. I smiled, nodded, agreed, and recorded every word. Hidden mics in the living room, cameras disguised as decor. Every cruel conversation uploaded to a private cloud. And while they mocked the man who gave me everything, I began shifting the ground beneath their feet. Quietly, patiently, the house they lived in refinanced. Assets moved. Insurance beneficiaries changed. A trust created in my father's name. Every cent they thought they'd inherit was rerouted. Then came that night. My father called me, his voice shaking. "They said there's no room for me tonight. The guests won't be comfortable." He laughed softly, but it wasn't humor. It was heartbreak. When I reached the house, the gate was locked. His Saturday outside in the cold, while they celebrated inside, drinking from my glasses, eating from my plates. And my wife danced barefoot on the floor I built for our future. That's when I decided it was over. I walked my father to the car and took him to a warm hotel suite I booked earlier that week. "You sleep here tonight," I told him. "Tomorrow, things will change." He didn't ask what I meant. Maybe he already knew. The next morning, I walked into my house. The aftermath of arrogance, spilled wine, broken glasses, and fake laughter fading into silence. My in-laws were still there. My wife looked up, startled. "You're home early," she murmured. "Not home," I said quietly. "Just visiting." I placed a folder on the table, photos, recordings, financial documents, proof of everything. Her father snorted. "You think this will scare us?" I smiled. "No, but I think the eviction notice taped to the front door might." They laughed until my lawyer walked in behind me. Then the color drained from their faces. The house was legally mine, and by law, everything within it now belonged to my father. They had 30 minutes to leave. My wife broke down. "You can't do this," she cried. "I can," I said, and I already did. They scrambled, shouting, hacking, cursing. Her parents stuffed jewelry into bags. My wife begged, screamed, promised to change. But I didn't raise my voice, didn't move an inch. I just watched. When they finally left, the silence that followed was heavy but cleansing. I called my father. "Come home," I said. When he arrived, I handed him the keys. He looked at me, confused, tears in his eyes. "This is your home, Dad," I told him. Always was, always will be. He tried to speak, but the words caught in his throat, and for the first time in years, I saw peace on his face. Moral of the story: never mistake manipulation for love. True loyalty doesn't need witnesses. It just needs consistency. And sometimes, the greatest revenge is restoring dignity to the ones who never stopped loving you.